the problems that we didn't solve in chapter 7, and then I will solve the last problem of the previous. Okay, so to start with chapter 7 problems. I will start by the application of temperature because we didn't do an application on temperature. So in this problem, we have that the heat transfer rate per unit area Q to a body from a fluid in natural or gravitational convection is the function of the temperature difference delta T, the gravity G, the body length L. Just guys 1 minute because some people are still entering the meeting. Okay, so the temperature difference delta T, the body length L, and the fluid properties, kinematic viscosity. Sorry for this. So, okay, conductivity K and thermal expansion beta. Rewrite in dimensionless form if it is known that G and B appear only as a product GB. So first we will do the analysis in ordinary analysis, and the final step we will answer the question what will happen if G and B should occur as a product. So first, the first step I will list all variables. So here the purpose is that we want to express, I don't know what's happening when I annotate the documents is disappearing. So let me check back. Do you see now the screen, the problem screen?
دكتور حتعملي ريكورد وتحطيه على بلاك بورد هيدا الفيديو؟
Yes, I'm بعمل record. Yes, I am doing. I am recording. Okay. So here we have the variables involved are Q. We want to express Q as a function of delta T, G, L, mu, beta, and K. So first step is to list the variables and count them. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. With Q, we count all variables with Q. Okay? So N is equal to 7. Now the next step is to determine the number of dimensions. This is why we should put units of all our variables. Okay? To start with, delta T is the temperature. So the unit is theta. Okay, which is dimension of temperature, theta. You have G is in acceleration. Okay, so it is meter per second square. L is a length, so it's L. For mu, if you don't know mu, you can remember that mu, this mu like this, it is dynamic viscosity is equal to rho times the kinematic viscosity. And if in case you don't know this formula also, just you have open book, you have open access to internet, just put on the internet kinematic viscosity, it will tell you what is the definition. But for the exam, we will give you something that you know in general. Okay, but this one you should know it from fluids. Okay, so that the kinematic viscosity is the dynamic viscosity mu over rho. So you divide the unit of mu by rho, you get the unit of the kinematic viscosity. Okay. Yes, in general, we use the dynamic viscosity mu, but here, because they asked for the kinematic one, so we will include it. Okay? So now, if we continue, then we have mu is, as we said, what is the unit of the dynamic viscosity that we are familiar with? It is, if you remember, it is m times m, L minus 1, T minus 1. Okay, and now if I divide by rho, so I should multiply by what? You have rho is kilogram per meter cube. So if I divide by rho, so it's times L cube over m. So what will happen? M will be simplified. So I simplify m, and I have L cube and L minus 1 will give me L square. And I have it T minus 1, so it's over T. So the unit for mu is meter square per second. Okay. And now for beta, maybe you are not familiar with the thermal expansion beta. So also you will go to the definition of beta. Okay. Here what is the definition of beta? So if you put in the internet, I want to find what is the thermal expansion coefficient. Okay, you can find its expression, and the unit of the thermal expansion coefficient is 1/Kelvin. Okay, so this is why the unit of beta will be 1/, the dimension of beta is 1/T. So if you have any variable that seems not familiar for you, all you have to do is to search for it, and you can find its unit. Okay. But in general, as I told you, in the exam, we give you concepts that you already know. Now, once we determine the dimensions of all our variables, let us count what are the dimensions involved. So we have M, we have T, we have theta for temperature, and we have L. So in total, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So J can be smaller or equal to 4. Okay. So to make sure if we can take J equal to 4, what should we do? We should be able to find 4 variables that are independent. And as I told you, what is the technique? I try to find variables that, for example, here, for K is the only one containing M. So of course, one of the variables that I can start with is to consider K as one of my variables. Okay. Now, let us check what other variable can we take also. If you take, for example, with beta and L, okay, and mu. Let us choose, for example, this combination and try to see if it's possible to form groups between them or not. So first, how you can think. K can never form a group with any of these. Okay, so of course, K, if we implement it with them, it cannot form a group. So K, it's fine for K. Now we should check if we take these 3 alone, if they can form a group or not. So if you take the combination of these 3, also it cannot form a group. Why? Because you have theta that is only present in beta, and T is only present in mu. Okay, so you can say that I can never obtain a group between L, mu, and beta. And if I add K also, I cannot obtain a group because K is the only one containing M. So from this small analysis, you can say that if I choose as variables L, mu, beta, K, I cannot form a group between them. So I can say that J is equal to 4 here. Okay, so the number of groups, pi groups, will be equal to N minus 4, N minus J, which is 7 minus 4 equals to 3. Okay, so I have 3 groups in the problem. Did you understand how I determine the independent variables, or do you want me to repeat? So all the idea is that...
Okay, can you repeat, please?
Okay, I will repeat. So first I said why I did this choice. Because look, first K, if I combine it with any of these, it can never form a group because M, we cannot cancel M because K is the only one containing M. So for K, I am fine. Okay, now I should make sure that for the remaining 3 also, they can never form a group together, L, mu, and beta. Why they cannot form a group together? Because between these 3, if I compare L, mu, and beta, the temperature dimension is only present in beta, and the time dimension is I can only find it in mu. So if I combine them with L, I can never form a group between these 3. So already these 3 does not form a group. And if I add K to them also, it will not form a group with them because K only contains M. So I can be sure that these 4 cannot form a group. Now, if you don't find that this technique suits you, if you cannot always find by a simple way these variables, you can check. How you can check that they cannot form a group? You try to find coefficients. So you put L to the power A times mu, which is here kinematic viscosity. So I will put it kinematic viscosity to the power b.
اوكي ليش قال ما قال هي فيها بس قال له كلهم فيهم قال
ما خص. اوكي ال ما خص. تقول لك ليه؟ لانه انت لو جمعت ال مع ميو بتا، ما ميو فيها تي وبتا فيها تتا، فيك تلغي ال، يعني فيك تعمل جروب بيناتهم. Try to do a group between L and mu. Can you do it? Try to do a group between L and beta. Can you do it? No. Why you can't do it? لأنه تتا و T ما في شيء حيلغيهم. يعني لو بتحط معهم L فيها lengths بس، ما فيها T ما فيها تتا. يعني you cannot cancel the dimension T and theta. So if you combine with L, nothing will change. You cannot cancel these two dimensions. So you cannot do anything. Okay? هي the idea. شو يعني الجروب؟ يعني when you combine them بصير اليونت تلغي يونت، بس ما هون تتا بس موجودة ببتا between these three. يعني whatever the coefficient of L and mu is ما بيقدروا يلغوا التتا. The same for T. يعني whatever combination of mu with L and beta, T will remain here. Nothing will cancel it. يعني you cannot form a group between L, mu and beta. Even if L is present everywhere, yes, it's true. في L هون وفي L هون وفي L هون، بس ما في T ولا مطرح تاني، ما في تتا ولا مطرح تاني بين L, mu بتا. اوكي؟
دكتور ما فينا نحط كي مع 2؟
مع مين بدك تحط كي؟ ما الكي فيها ام، الكي فيها ام، حدا عنده ام شيء بيناتهم؟
حتى اذا حطيناها مع 3 others كمان ما حدا فيه ام.
وكمان ما حدا. فيك اذا بتاخد كيو معها، بس ما كيو مش اخذينها معهم. ليش؟ لا مش هيك ما نقينا كيو معهم، لانه كيو فيها ام. اوكي، سو تو بي شور اخذنا هول الاربعه، لانه كي الوحيده فيها ام. يعني بيناتهم اذا بنحط كي معهم ما بينفعنا. بيرجع اذا باخد ال ميو بتا مع بعض كمان I can't do anything بيناتهم. Between these three I cannot do any group، لأنه I have beta containing theta و mu containing t. Okay, so they cannot form. حتى ما في ولا اثنين بيعملوا group. يعني نقوا حيلا 2 بيناتهم. انتوا you should not be able to form any group between them، ولا of 2 ولا of 3 ولا of 4. of 4 اكيد لا، لانه قلنا الام مش موجوده. اذا باخذ هول الثري بين بعض كمان نو، لانه الميو بس فيها تي والبتا بس فيها تتا. So if I combine L and mu ما بتزبط، التي بتضل موجوده. If I combine L and beta it doesn't work. Theta is always here. And if I combine mu and beta also it will not work because I cannot eliminate t and theta.
دكتور
نعم.
ليش ما فينا ناخد جي ال في وميو؟
مش ما فينا، انتبه، فينا نعمل اللي بدنا اياه. اوكي، فيك تجرب حيلا 4 variables بس ما يعملوا جروب. انت مين بدك تجرب قلت لي؟
الاربعه اللي على الشمال جي ال في وميو.
يلا these ones.
يس انه كلهم بس فيهم temperature وحده، سو فينا ناخذهم.
اوكي خليني اشوف بس لحظه. look يمكن هيدي ما بتزبط. تعرف ليه؟ لانه you can form a group between these three. GL and mu if you combine them together you can form a group. لانه فيهم L و T، يعني فيك تلاقي coefficient of L و mu بطريقه يلغوا ال T وال L. so no.
اذا ضربناهم بالميو، اذا ضربناهم بالبتا مش ما فينا نطلع.
بلا مع بتا معك حق، بس ما انت you should not form any group، ولا جروب ولا of 4 ولا of 3 ولا of 2. يعني انت مزبوط you cannot include بتا بقلبهم، بس جي ال وميو مع بعض بيعملوا جروب. so it's not acceptable. يعني اذا بس في حيلا 3 او 2 او 4 بيعملوا جروب خلص you cannot take them as independent variables.
نحن باكسرسايز قبل اخذنا هيدي into consideration.
يس على طول بناخذها into consideration.
يعني اذا نقينا ثلاثه كمان لازم ما فينا ناخذ اثنين منهم يعملوا جروب.
ما بنقدر، لا. يعني فيك انت بس نقي ثلاثه ما فينا ناخذ اثنين منهم نعمل جروب، بيكونوا dependent ساعتها. نحن كل الثلاثه اللي كنا عم ننقيهم ما بيعملوا جروب، ولا 3 ولا 2.
يعني ما بيعملوا 2 كمان بين بعض جواتها 3؟
لا ما بيعملوا 2 بين بعض. نو لا، لانه نحن على طول كنا ننقيهم كيف؟ وحده فيها ام لحالها، وحده فيها مثلا تي لحالها. يعني خلص اكيد ما بيعملوا جروب اذا بناخذهم مع ثالث واحد، ولا بين بعضهم اكيد.
Doctor, can you let Bilal in?
Yes. Okay, so now once we did our choice, فإذا نحن we choose these independent variables L, mu, beta, and K. Now we are ready to form the groups. Okay, now to form the groups, we will combine first these 4 with Q. We form the first group. Then we combine these 4 with delta T. We form the second group, and then we combine them with G. We form the third group. Okay. So to begin, let me check your chats first. Yes, we should not be able to pick any variables, 3 or 2 or 4. Okay, and if I can find just 2 forming a group together, yani the 4 variables will not work. I should choose 4 variables that can never do a group, wala in 4, wala in 3, wala in 2. Okay, so now the next step to find the group of Q. هون صرنا typical، يعني صرنا فتنا بالtypical method. What do? We put Q times L to the power A times mu to the power أو سميناها kinematic. Okay, kinematic viscosity to the power B times beta to the power C times K to the power D should be equal to M0. Here we should add, in addition to MLT, we should add theta, because here we have 4 dimensions involved. So M0, L0, T0, and theta 0. T0 and theta to the power 0. And now we start the conventional way. Okay, we start by putting the dimension of each. So starting with Q, what is the unit of Q? Q is here it's the heat transfer per unit area. Okay, so since it's heat transfer per unit area, how you can find it? كمان ما شفنا ال Q أنا وياكم. If you forgot what is the unit of Q, remember that Q, how you can find it in general? مثل conductive flux, for example, Q is, let's say, per unit area يعني K dt over dx. Okay, لأنه إذا you multiply by area you obtain the flow rate in watt. Okay, and if you want it in per meter square you divide by the area. So here Q is K dt by dx, and you know that the conductivity unit K, okay, is mass times length over theta T cube. برجع بعد لكم. If you forgot, it's not a problem. ترجعوا للإيكويشن. Okay, ترجعوا ل Q. الإيكويشن of the flux is K A. يعني if I have a flux, okay, بالheat transfer, if you put K A dt over dx, what is the unit? مين بيعرف? What is the unit of a heat flux in thermo? It's a rate, مش هيك? It's a rate. So the unit is what? The unit is in watt. You obtain your result in watt. Okay. So now, if you want to, sorry, in joule. Okay, in joule. It's energy. It's energy. Okay. What is per unit time? So what is energy per unit time? And if you find a flux Q, okay, you can find that if I replace the units here, the units, I know the unit of temperature, I know the unit of X, and I know the unit of A. I can conclude what is the unit of K. Okay, so just one second. هون عم بيقولوا heat transfer rate. فبليز انتبهوا كثير على terminology. So if they talk about a rate, it's what? If they talk about an energy flux, يعني if they just say the energy, if you want the energy, the total energy, okay, it will be in joule. But when they say rate, so it's joule per second. Okay, so here they mean of for Q it's joule per second, so it's in watt. Okay, so the unit of Q is watt, and watt is defined by what? By which dimension? what is joule per second, and joule is force times distance because it's energy. Okay, so if we write it here, what is the unit of force? It's ma. Okay, so it's m times L over t square, and since we are multiplying by a distance, so times L. Okay, times L again,
مش عم طلع هون.
and then we are dividing by second, so over t. So the unit watt, which is joule per second, which is a rate of energy, so it's energy per unit time. The rate of energy is equal to m times L square over t cube. So this is the unit, this is watt, this is the dimension of watt because it's a heat rate. Okay, برجع بقول لكم اذا ما قالوا heat rate يعني فيهم يقولوا لكم the energy of conduction or the energy of convection because they said it's a rate, so it's over time. And the rate of energy by conduction, for example, is Ka dt by dx, and the rate of convection is Ha delta T multiplied by the convective coefficient H. Okay, so here what will happen is that what is m L square over T cube. Okay, but what we have here is flux per unit area. So let's say the conductive flux or the heat transfer flux or rate per unit area. So you should divide this Q for this problem is in watt per meter square. Because it's in watt per meter square, so you should divide this unit you obtain, the dimension you obtain, you should divide it by L square. Okay, so if I divide it here, I should divide it by L square. So L square and L square will be simplified. So Q, which is the heat transfer rate per unit area, is in M, which is kilogram per T cube per time to the power 3. Okay, this is how we found out what is the unit, the dimension of Q. And now, if you forgot what is the dimension of K, all you have to do is to say that Q represents, because it's per unit area, so I can cancel A from here and put this is equal to Q. It will have the same dimension of Q. So now, what will be the dimension of K? It's the dimension of Q times L, which is times the dimension of the X, which is L, over the dimension of temperature, which is theta. This is why you can deduce from this that the dimension of K is equal to the dimension of Q, which is m over T cube, okay, times the dimension of dx, which is L, over the dimension of dt, which is a temperature, yani over theta. So in total, this is the dimension for K, for the conductivity, ml over theta T cube. Okay.
dt by dx unit theta.
dt by dx هي temperature over length. Okay. يعني ال dimension of dt هي theta over dx هي L. This is why when you take them to the other side, بتصير unit of K, unit of Q times L over theta. So you get ml over theta T cube. Okay. يعني لاحظوا unit of K is m over T cube. When you multiply it by L over theta, اللي هي unit of dx over dt, you get the unit of K. So this is a method. If you forget any dimension, any unit, you can go back to the concept equations. يعني أكيد بالheat transfer مرقى معكم إنه الconduction هي per unit area هي K dt by dx والconvective flux هو
ما
H
اخذنا هيت
delta T.
ترانسفير.
بعد ما اخذين هيت ترانسفير.
اوكي ما طلعت له هم. انا قلت لكم انه نحن we take this into consideration. بس anyway in case بحيالله اذا عندكم situation نسيتوا او ما بتعرفوا, just google it and you will find the corresponding what is the definition.
بس سؤال, what was the answer للquestion تاعت what's the dimension dt over dx?
dt over dx theta over L. ما شو هي dt؟
اوكي صح ماشي.
temperature gradient theta over length L. Okay. Okay. So now let us continue. نحن كتبنا equation here and now we should start to find the coefficients A, B, C, and D. Okay. Just 1 second, please. So,
كتير.
yes.
بس فيني ارجع اسالك كويشن، ليش ما فينا ناخد جي ال في وبتا؟ انه نحن جربنا جي ال وفي
ايه
ما
بيعملوا
بيطلعوا
جروب.
انه هن
بيعملوا جروب.
كيف
اذا بتاخد هول بيعملوا جروب.
هن
اوكي.
لازم اذا ضربناهم بعض ما يطلعوا ام باور 0 ال باور 0 تي باور 0 او
مظبوط.
كيف؟
ايه اذا بتجيب الاي بي انت ما لازم تلاقي اي بي سي coefficient بطريقه انه جي ال اوفر ميو تعطيك جروب. يعني انت تما يكونوا يعملوا جروب لازم يكونوا اي بي سي 0. بس جرب انت اذا بتحط جي تو ذا باور، اذا بتحط جي تايمز ال تو ذا باور اي مثلا تايمز ميو تو ذا باور بي بيطلع لك جروب. فيك تلاقي اي وبي ما بيطلعوا 0. اوكي. يعني انت فيك تحط هيك جي تو ذا باور، بدك تجرب بدك تحط جي تو ذا باور سي ال تايمز ال تو ذا باور اي تايمز ميو تو ذا باور بي لازم يطلع لي ام 0 ال 0 تي 0. ما بتزبط، جربها. اوكي. وتاكد لك انه ما بتزبط لحول جروب قدامك. This is the group. في جروب بيجمع
هي ما
جي
لازم تطلع 0 حتى تطلع صح.
ايه لازم تطلع independent لازم يطلعوا A B C 0. لانه اذا قدرت لقيت 3 coefficients، يعني حاعطيك example اذا بتحل هون ما حيطلع لك انه it's impossible انه it is possible انه to combine them. if you solve حيطلع لك هيك، حيطلع لك I can get مثلا C if I take C1 اوكي بتطلع L بيطلع ال coefficient of L 3 بيطلع A equals 3 وبيطلع B equals 2 minus 2.
احنا ما لازم نلاقي اي بي وسي
نحن
يعني.
ما لازم نلاقي، يعني لازم
أوكي.
يطلعوا ثلاثتهم 0 تما يكونوا يعملوا جروب. impossible تما يكونوا يقدروا يعملوا جروب، بده يطلعوا A B C 0. إذا قدرت
أوكي.
لقيت A B C this means that they can form
we can
a
take them. اوكي we can take them ماشي.
Okay. Okay. So now, so we were finding the group of Q. Okay. To find the group of Q, as we said, we put the equation. حفرجيكم إياها هون إذا بدكم to simplify. Okay, خلص حنعملها هن مش عاملينها in detail. So let me put it in detail for you. So first, فإذا حنبلش بالunits. Okay. What is unit of Q? It's m over t cube. So I will replace the unit of Q m. ححطها t minus 3 t to the power minus 3 times نحن قلنا انه we will combine Q with G, L, mu and beta. So the unit of G is L over t square and I put it to the power A. So it's L to the power A times t minus 2 to the power A, يعني t minus 2A, t to the power minus 2A. Now for L I will take to the power B. So it's L to the power B. For mu, I will take it to the power C, and it is L to the power 2C, L to the power 2C. And it's over T, so it's T to the power minus C. So times T to the power minus C. And then for beta, I will consider to the power D, so it's theta to the power minus D. So times theta to the power minus D, okay, equals to M0 L0. So I put them here. So
مش قلنا انه هيدي الجروب ما بتزبط؟
كيف ما بتزبط؟ ما حطيت Q معهم، حطيت Q معهم MT to the power minus 3. بس حط Q معهم اكيد حيصير في جروب. اوكي. بس اذا بلا Q معهم، اذا بس باخد G L ميو وبتا لحظة نحن سوري yes I see what you mean.
We should take K
نحن
instead
أخذنا
of
L yes
beta.
sure نحن أخذنا L ميو بتا K yes you're right. okay. يلا حظبطها. نحن ما أخذنا G معهم، نحن أخذنا آخر 4. it's right. so بس حشيل إذا بدكم آخر وحدة، أول وحدة الجي ما بدي إياها، الجي منا independent variable، هحط مطرح G K. okay. يعني هون هحط مطرح this one I will put K. Okay, so what is the unit for K? ML over theta T cube. Okay, so it will become M to the power A times L to the power A over times theta to the power minus A. يعني بس هلا عم حط Q to the power A. Okay, يعني MA LA theta minus A و T minus 3A. Okay, and T minus 3A. Okay, exactly. Okay, فانتبهوا انا رجعت بالغلط اخذت الجي معهم هن اخر 4 variables اللي عندي كان. Okay, so now I should find the coefficients A, B, and C. Any way to have here should be equal. Okay, it should be equal to M to the power 0, L to the power 0, T to the power 0, and theta to the power 0. So now the first equation here by taking the coefficient for M. What is the coefficient for M in left part? I have for M first it's to the power 1 يعني 1 عندي هون M to the power A so plus A, and do I have any other M here? No. So 1 plus A should be equal to what? To 0. This is equation number 1. Okay, and equation number 1, so this is from comparison of n coefficient. Comparison of m coefficients. Okay, so this is relation 1. I get that A is equal to -1 from it. Now let us continue for T. So now I do comparison of T coefficients. Of T. What do I have for T from this side, from the left side? I have T minus 3 first, so minus 3. I have here minus 3A, so minus 3A. I have minus C. So that's it from this side. From the other side, I have 0, of course. Okay, so this is equation number 2. As you can see, A is already calculated. So if I take C to the other side, C is equal to minus 3 and minus 3A, and A is equal to minus 1, so plus 3. So it's 0. So the coefficient of, so you can say that C is 0. What can you deduce? You can deduce that C is for which variable? C is for C is for mu. So mu will not be included in the equation of Q. Okay. Now comparison of coefficient of L. Comparison of L coefficients now. So for L coefficients, what do we have? We have first L to the power A, so plus A. We have L to the power B, so plus B. We have plus 2C, and that's it, equals to 0. So now we have already seen that C is 0 and A is minus 1, so B is equal. So B is equal to minus A equals to plus 1. This is the constant B. Now to find D. To find D now, we will compare coefficients of theta. So now comparison of theta coefficient. Now for theta, what do we have? We have here theta to the power A, so it's A.
مش لازم تكون minus A.
Minus A, يلا let me check. الثeta هي لمين؟ من البتا صح؟ Yes, exactly. It's minus A. Why? Because it's 1 over theta. Okay, it's 1 over theta. So I will put it here, theta to the power minus A. Okay. Okay. So it's minus A, and I have minus D here. So minus A minus D should be equal to 0. So D is equal to minus A equals to plus 1. anyway, if I did any error, I can know when I form the group. Yani, when I obtain my group, I can make sure of the dimension. So let us check together, okay? So my group is Q times my first variable, which is to the power A, was K. I obtained that it is A is -1, so it should be over K, okay? Let us continue. Now, for the second variable, which is L, B is the coefficient, okay? We obtained that B is equal to +1, so it will be Q times L, so times L. Now, for the coefficient C is 0. C is the coefficient of mu, so mu will not appear in my equation. And finally, theta, D is the coefficient of beta. I obtained that D is equal to +1, okay? So it should be times beta. So here times beta, okay? Let us make sure that this group makes sense. To make sense, it should have no dimension, okay? So to check your result, you can do this. Just replace by the units. So unit of Q is meter times T minus 3 times L, so I multiply by length, times beta, I divide by theta, so theta minus 1, and then I multiply by, I divide by K. To divide by the conductivity K, so it's like I multiply by theta T cube over ML, so times theta times T cube over ML. And you can make sure now, yeah, it's M minus 1 if you want, M minus 1 and L minus 1. You can check that the dimension is equal to M0, L0, because all will simplify, okay? T0 and theta 0. Because here you have that M and M minus 1 will cancel out. You have T cube and T minus 3 will cancel out. You have L and L minus 1, and you have theta minus 1 and theta. So our group is fine. Okay. So we found the group for Q. Now we will repeat the same procedure for delta T to find the group now for delta T, and finally to find the group of G. Now, sometimes you can expect the group. Okay, so anyway, even if you expect the group, you should put all details, because if they ask you in the question, solve using this theorem and put all details, you should do A, B, C and find them. But you can expect the result. So for example, for delta theta, who can give me the group directly for delta theta? What will be the group of delta theta?
Delta theta over beta.
Delta theta times beta, not
Okay,
over.
times beta.
Okay, very good. If you do delta, beta is 1 over theta. So if I multiply delta T by beta, the unit will be 1. So you can directly predict that your second group will be delta T. And you can verify this by the calculation. If they ask you to put the details of calculation, you cannot put the group directly. You should show your calculation.
Doctor,
But you expect from calculation and you will only have beta. Yes.
هيفضل اللابتوب.
كيف طلعته؟ Okay.
لا هيفضل اللابتوب.
Sorry, I cannot hear you. Can you repeat?
اللابتوب هيفضل.
Okay, thank you. يلا 1 minute.
دكتور اصلا هيخلص الميتنج اذا بدك كمان تعمل وقت كتير.
يلا we will open a new one. Okay? We'll open a new one. Yeah.